All right, folks, welcome on back here this Wednesday afternoon now, June 11th. Great to have Leda and Lawrence and Margaret and all of our students and members alike inside our live trading room. Rejoining us, of course, just welcome on back here. Now, if you're on YouTube, Facebook Live, LinkedIn, all of our social channels, just down below at Cyber Trading U, just make sure to hit the follow, subscribe button right down below there. We came off a great workshop just earlier today, actually, even before that, a nice podcast, Fausto and the great, powerful Tom Busby from DTI Trader. So, if you'd missed out on that, that's right on our YouTube channel as well. Another great reason to hit the subscribe button there. But we actually also had a great workshop from Rich, one of our instructors, moderators here inside our live trading room. He's really specialized in computer hardware, IT, the hardware, the software, everything else in between. So we just covered a good portion of that in our live workshop today. That was also recorded, but that's not on YouTube. That's for our members and more so students of our trading room. So we'll have that recorded, put on the student portal just over the course of the next 24 hours. But now with that in mind, taking us right back here to our market, hey, a little bit of a drop off just before. I think there was some headline that came out regarding the Middle East. I think the United States basically, saying non-essential people look to basically leave Bahrain, leave off the top of my head. Oh my God, I'm forgetting the name of it right now. Another country. So they're just kind of prepping things up, at least led to a bit of a drop off just a moment ago. Even with this little recovery, we'll see how far we can get. I'm very long-term bullish. I think that we're going to go right back up towards these highs that we had back right around 610, 615 here on the SPY. I think that we do that pretty soon. But hey, any talking head out there, whether it's Lutnick, Besson, Trump, Elon, as we now know, obviously, any of those talking heads, one sentence, one word that could change the dynamic of the market. And of course, anything with Putin, anything with the Middle East, anything with China and Z and whomever. There's a lot of different people out there that could influence this market here. So let's see how far we could squeeze and move back up. I would love to get that full recovery by the end of the afternoon today. If there's more headlines that come out, obviously like the UK and more eastward, or at least 6 hours ahead of us here in New York time, Florida time. So if things develop into the evening, into the night, over there, we'll probably see that reflect within the market pretty soon then, right? What we'll do pretty much just is go right from top to bottom here, see what we can put on our watch list for this afternoon. We'll build it up right away, recap any of those that made a move for us earlier here this morning or this afternoon. Let's jump here, make sure I got this straight. There we go, the 24-hour setting. So yeah, this KZIA stock just before made a good push early this morning in pre-market. It was trending back down going into the market open. So it's kind of a tough cookie to try and see it break a higher high. I guess it made some freak pop here and then just died off. So we're done with this trade for right now. It's kind of like a prove me wrong type of deal. Not every stock is going to be, and then this one already dumped off too, but not every stock is going to be KLTO. That earlier this week was like, 29, 30 cents, moved up to as high as like 370, even $4 almost here, actually. Yeah, not every stock is going to be that. So if it wants to pop one more time during this meeting here, I'm talking about this KZIA, hey, I'll be proven wrong. Love to be. XTIA has proven us wrong greatly. And I don't want to say that. We've been following the stock all throughout this week, but it's definitely been popping a lot more than we thought it could. Because back from earlier this week, it made a pretty good push for us day over day. We did pretty well on it here. We thought that this had filled a gap and said, you know what, hey, it filled the gap here at this point. Yeah, I was talking about this here actually at the time. So it's even a couple days removed from that. But it ended up filling this gap and then some. But I didn't think that this would blow the whole roof off and try and go much higher. There's actually a much larger gap up here as high as like $12 if this wants to get crazy. Yeah, the XTIA, listen, this thing's still kind of building higher lows. Not making a higher high yet, though. So if we finish up this meeting, come back, and this is starting to rev back up and above like 575 here, 570-ish, I'll add it. Prove me wrong. HSDT, this one definitely is in the dumps. We're done with this trade, at least for now. So a lot of these we don't need to come back to. A lot of them you could tell right away. We're just going to write off. This Naka, though, Nakamoto, Kindly MD, they're known as Nakamoto. they're a Bitcoin treasury company, so they put a lot of money into Bitcoin fund, Bitcoin treasury. We traded them back in mid-May, ran back up, I guess, hereafter, came back down, I guess, after. Listen, we took our eyes off this stock for a little while because if it's not showing consistency, if it's not showing consistency on the morning with a clear trend, if the volume isn't continuing to hold pretty well, then we're going to move on from it at some point. So we ended up moving on from this trade a little while back and haven't really looked at it since. That's all right. We got other fish in the sea out there to grab. This NAOV treated us really nicely early this morning, pre-market, but then after the open pushed up, up and above 150. Good for about 40, 50 cents actually for a cheap dollar stock. That's like a home run. And again, if you're joining us just not just inside our live trading room, but on YouTube, on Facebook, et cetera, et cetera. Again, we just finished up our podcast earlier today, Fausto and Tom Busby. So I know a lot of our students here, Leda, Bill, Margaret, Kathleen, Steve, Michael, et cetera. We're waiting for this podcast, going into this week. So if you had missed out on that, if you didn't have the chance to catch us there, that's on our YouTube channel. Just make sure to follow and subscribe to us there. But right now, for the meantime here, this OKLO, we'll put this on our watch list to begin. Nuclear going right back on up. This was pushing up well earlier, as well as the SMR. SMR is breaking all-time highs just earlier this morning. Fausto is crushing this trade. So we're going to put both of them back on our list. Both are nice. OUST, not so much. QUBT was the star of the morning here so far. This was like our best trade of the day. I really can't imagine any other trade being as good. So QUBT, one of the quantums, was trending up here going into the market open really well. So you figure at some point, once the buying pressure just continues, you're going to look to see a better squeeze, or at least history repeat itself. So it broke above resistance here right off of 1750, broke resistance and ran. So right away, you'd expect to see resistance flip into support. And that's what happened over time, led to a great move. Ran up over 20, tried to flip that into support, failed to get the job done there, and then came back down a bit. But listen, this was a nice day trade from the morning. The QUBT is also a good swing trade, just in sympathy with QBTS and the other quantums out there. This is a pretty healthy chart. It has been for a little bit, but only getting stronger and stronger with these pops. Now, at these wicks, though, I just say be careful because probably see it pull back, probably see try and get support to get tested again right around this like 16-ish, 1630-ish. If that can, pull back and we get support to hold there, then I can see a much better move up in due time. All right, give me a second. Holding on to that like a jabroni. All right, let's see what else we got here for the meantime. HOVR, hover, whatever you want to call it. Not doing as good there. This one's doing all right. The asset here, ASST. I know the Nakamoto stock we just said is a Bitcoin treasury company. ASST, I think, was the first of those companies that came out and said, hey, we're going to buy a bunch of Bitcoin. So at least for right now, ASST, I like this a bit more, holding up pretty well near the high. I would want the order book to fill in a little bit here. Actually, pretty good. I'm sure this will open up a little bit here and there, but I don't think it's going to get too extreme. So as long as it kind of contains itself like it's doing right now, then that's good. All right, there's our SMR. We got that already. No need to go back to that. That's on our list. Dave & Buster's, I think, coming off of earnings, actually, but not really looking like it has a lot of momentum behind it now at this point. Getty, this was actually the stock earlier I didn't even mention by name. This is my first time saying the word Getty today. But earlier I was going to call this out and it pulled back pretty nastily and I held off. I shut my pie hole. I didn't do anything. I'm happy I didn't call this out for everyone there. So it was tradable, but no momentum behind. Yeah, all these other stocks, at least from earlier today, including Archer. Archer's holding a bit here, but we'll focus on it tomorrow. We'll come back to it tomorrow morning. Good day trade, good swing trade. Starbucks is running right now. What, people got their like grande extra sweet nitro cold brew for like 2,500 calories with 10 ounces. You know what I mean? Like most unhealthy drink of all time. But you know what? Hey, this thing's not only pushing up, but it is filling a gap. For my purists out there, you could probably even say the gap begins from the close here on this candle, 99.41. But although it kind of Gap down afterwards, broke below a support here at 97 or so. But it's a nice move, a little more expensive. Don't get me wrong, but it's at the highs. It's up near 5%. I normally wouldn't kind of stoop this low, but that's a nice trade here. I'll kind of put this towards the back of our list for right now. All right, we'll hop over to the loser side, seeing if there's anything just as good, if not better. Here's our Tulu trade, KLTO. Hey, listen, you got to nickname these things something. AMSC, American Superconductor. That is the actual name of this company. UAVS, Chewy down also off of bad earnings. This is actually near the low of the day here, but we'll see if there could be more on the downside. Maybe a potential short on Chewy. This thing had a pretty healthy chart, though, for a little while, so I don't know how bearish I would be long term. Yeah, I mean, listen, from 2021, it was trending down a lot. So this is a pivotal moment here on this chart because back from a year ago, pretty much, end of May, this has been on a nice tear. So I do call this a very healthy chart, even though it's not near all-time highs and all that. It has been healthy. If this wants to remain healthy, then it's got to continue to hold support double bottom perhaps here, or otherwise to just cleanly see resistance flip into a support one way or another. So you know what? I don't mind it. It's like an interesting chart, interesting trade. We don't really trade Chewy too often, so I'll add it. Why not? What else we got? Intel, right back down she goes here. So this thing was on our list for the afternoon yesterday and wiped out all of its gains at this point now. So not really a healthy long-term graph is Intel. But yeah, it's a good short we'll add this year. The markets keep dropping off, tensions in the Middle East, whatever the reason is to why the market's dropping right now. United Airlines, I'm just shooting from the hip here when I say this completely. This right now is about to be just shooting from the hip. But, listen, if there's tensions going on internationally and they're shutting down flights and airlines and whatever, UAL is dropping off a lot right now, down over 5%. Delta is down over 5%. So, and American actually, even before that, it's down over 6.5%. So, not really good news that's helping these trades out. And they're already down to begin the day. So, there could be more ahead. I don't mind adding like American Airlines, Delta, UAL onto our list at this stage. All right, folks, if you're on YouTube right now, Facebook Live, LinkedIn, etc., 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 just let me know if there's anything else that you want me to look at here before we finish up. I think I closed out my Benzinga Pro. Did I? Sec here, sponsored by the fine folks at Benzinga Pro. Now, SMPX, Junes, none of these stocks here I'm familiar with whatsoever. The one that I called out earlier is actually this year, QSG. I'll take a look at that. Mentioned that earlier today, just very flat, spotty graph right now. It made a little move up beforehand. The order book's pretty empty. There's not a need for us to put this on our watch list right now. It could be one with better volume. That'll be a nice trade, but we'll pass here. CEO is just on Fox Business from Mike B in the trading room for OKLO. There you go. It's good to know. So, I mean, listen, I thought there had to have been some news that came out because of the pop that we had here at the open. This was intense. You figure some news had to have come out, but we didn't even see any at the time. We were checking all over, up and down, from pre-market into the morning here. We didn't get any like specific company headline or like Trump executive order update thing. But the fact that the CEO is on Fox Business just now, that's good for this afternoon. So we'll definitely take it there, Mike. Yeah, that's exactly what we were just saying there, Lynn and Randy. I was mentioning that a moment ago. The Middle East. Yeah, the XTIA trying to go back up again, right? Trying to prove itself to us here. So I'll kind of slip it back on our list at this stage. But, I don't know how much crazier this chart can get. It was already a good move to fill the gap back from yesterday and the day before. And then this thing just squeezed today from 350 up to over 7. So if it fails to flip this into a support and it comes back down, then we're going to remove it off our list as fast as you can blink. I mean that. No, but seriously, I mean, it's trying to prove itself to us. We're going to add it. If this thing craps out immediately after, we are going to put this through the paper shredder, rip it up in half. That's it. All right. I think that just about does it here, folks. I mean, not much else that looks great. We went through our watch lists. We went through everything else here. So Last call, there's that XTIA, QUBT. Is that actually on our list here at this point? I won't put this on our list, but it's tradable. If you did well on this stock earlier today, if you killed it on this trade, hey, you know who you are, right? So you put it on your personal list. I'm just not as convinced it's going to like go all the way back up here yet. So I like what we got for right now. The nuclears, we got a couple Bitcoin stocks in there, even a Starbucks trade in there. Get your caffeine fix in at least. And then otherwise, folks, hey, if you're joining us inside our live trading room, I'll be back on in about 20 or so minutes, just shortly after 3 o'clock. Go from there. If you're on Facebook Live, LinkedIn, Twitter, YouTube, etc., I should always include TikTok as well. We don't dance for you here, but we're here to educate, as I like to say. You got to get a few drinks in me before I start like doing a dance. But otherwise, subscribe directly down below at Cyber Trading U, especially if you're on YouTube. Again, we stream live each and every morning, each and every afternoon. Live workshop on Monday, podcasts Tuesday and Wednesday, and then plenty more to come in between. But if you're interested in joining our live trading room, getting the full brunt of our audio broadcasts each and every day from morning to afternoon, just scan that QR code scrolling down on the banner below, ctu.co/trial. We look forward to having you there. And then, again, I'll be back on in just a moment, folks. Take care.